G'day and welcome to Perfect Date. This, according to the summary that was given to me by the game launcher, is some sort of mix between a role-playing game and visual novel and something involving dating cats. And oh boy, my volume was up too loud. This is definitely something where I'm going to need to adjust the game volume down. A game by Oliver and Ruby Bay, I guess? Okay, so let's try this game. Current playthrough, all-time progress. I can tell you now, not that keen on visual novels. Not, like, no shame or anything. It's just, I don't get on with them. Myself. Admittedly, part of this is like I've tried kinetic visual novels, which are also known as books where the text is delivered very slowly, along with some art, and I'm not keen on it. Let's go with something roughly. I guess you are the closest to me in here. No beards, disappointing. This game has an autosave feature. Please don't turn off the game while it's saving. Sure, I'm an angel and I accept. So yeah, like I said, there aren't many visual novels that I found deliver text in a way that is fast enough. I'm not sure how long we've been sailing, but it feels like forever. I'm not feeling too well now, so it's a huge relief to hear the deck lad shout, "Island approach! Make yourself ready!" I'm finally here. When I applied last month, I was just another broke student living off baked beans, and I didn't think I really had a chance of being accepted to be part of the prestigious Cat Island research team. That's why everyone was wearing lab coats, because that's what you do as a scientist, is wear a lab coat. I should know, I'm married to one. Yet here it is, the little black dot in the distance, growing bigger by the second, is the infamous Cat Island, the place I'll call home for the next few months. My heart momentarily skips a beat. What if there's been a mistake? What if they accepted someone else's application and then accidentally sent the offer to me? I rummage about in my bag until I find the papers. DPRI, DP Corporation. Dear Ranico, we are pleased to offer you the position of research assistant to Professor Purrfect at our research facility on Cat Island. Your position will be for an initial period of 8 weeks. Your contract will be sent separately. We look forward to working with you. Yours sincerely, Professor Purrfect, PhD, Bachelor of Science, Honors DPG? Don't know what DPG is. No mistake, that's my name, right there in the top left corner, Ranico, and there's his name at the bottom, the genius behind this whole operation, Professor Purrfect, science genius and my new boss. I look up from my papers to see dry land rapidly approaching before us. It seems to be surrounded by a huge barrier of impenetrable black rocks. As we get closer, we're not slowing down. I begin to worry we're going to crash into them. Then, at the very last moment, we take a sharp turn to the left, and suddenly we're sailing smoothly towards a jetty through an opening in the rocks. I blow out the breath that I've been holding and break into a smile. Nicely done, Skipper! The ferryman comes out from behind the steering wheel, ignoring my attempts at camaraderie, and shouts rather brusquely, "Take all your belongings. We won't be back for days, so don't leave nothing you'll need." Thank you. I smile weakly at the ferryman and his son and pick up my bags, ready to disembark. We glide seamlessly up to the wooden jetty, and his son leaps ashore to tie us off. He's greeted by a bulky man in a uniform, who I take to be a security officer of some kind. Zane Jones. Joe! Sir, caught you a mouse. And then he laughs loudly as though it's the funniest thing he's said the funniest thing he's ever heard. It's very disconcerting. The security guard remains surly and turns his attention to me. "Let's be having you then." He holds out his large hand, which I assume is an offer to help me off the boat, but as I reach out to take it, he snatches it away, throwing me off balance so that I almost fall over the side. What a great start. ID card? Oh, I see, of course. I reach into my back pocket and hand over the laminated card I was given on the mainland. Okay. Ranico. Beginning of 2017. The beginning of the end times. He barely looks at it before striding off, grunting over his shoulder. This way. I follow him down the dirt path, track path and get my first proper view of the island. It's beautiful, lush and green. I'm already under its spell. After no more than a couple of minutes trekking, we're in base camp, which consists of an assortment of tents and huts. Among them are two solid-looking structures, one larger and one smaller. I presume these are the labs. The whole camp is moderate but functional. It reminds me of an army outpost. I'm struck by the lack of people. In fact, there's no one around apart from an older woman sitting outside peeling a pile of potatoes. I smile and give her a little nod, but she just stares back at me. I try not to get paranoid. Here. I stopped at the largest of the tents, indicating that I should go inside. I feel rude just walking in, so I make my presence known first. Ahem. Hello? A firm but friendly voice calls out. Come! I walk in, and there he is, hunched over some documents. The great Professor Purrfect. Sir, it's an honor to meet you. Yes, you must be Raniko. Come in, my dear. Glad to have you on board. Good journey? Well, long. Yes, indeed. We're rather tucked away here. Let me offer you some refreshment. Water? Coffee? Something stronger? Perhaps whiskey? I'd love a cup of tea if there's a pot on the go. I can tell you, the tea here tastes like cat's piddle. You really don't want to drink it. He passed me a cup of coffee from his canteen and said, it's a good thing I like coffee. It'll take you a while to find your way around and discover how it all works, so for today I thought I'd just get you kitted out. And maybe introduce you to some of the locals. The cats, that is. I believe you've already met most of the human locals. I've only met the ferryman, the security guard who brought me here. Yes, that's about it. And the lady outside? Ah, Mrs. Marigold. Her and her husband are the caretakers. Wonderful couple, the Marigolds. You'll meet them before too long. We're a tidy little family here, Raniko, and I'm sure you'll fit in nicely. Thank you, sir. Hope so. Okay, so first things first. This is your basic kit. He begins going through a pile of things on his desk, explaining each of them in turn. This is your backpack. You can put everything in it. We'll be going on plenty of field trips, so it'll be very useful. As will your water bottle. Some disinfectant hand spray. Ah, these are heavy-duty reinforced gloves, which are essential when tagging cats out in the wild. I can imagine. Don't want any scratches from felines we don't know, do we? I suppose not. I shove each item into my new backpack as he gives them to me. Likewise, these goggles will be brought on all field trips. This lot here, he indicates the small pile of what looks like laundry, is a basic uniform, lab coats, masks, stethoscope, etc. Portable first aid camping kit knife with all the tool attachments. Finally, and without doubt, most importantly, this! He holds up something that looks like a mobile phone, except it clearly isn't one. This is your catalog! Great. Catalog? Yes, the name comes from its earliest version. It was initially designed to record and store data on the cats, scan them, and log their details. But as you can see, we've come a long way since then. Now you can use it to communicate with the rest of our team. I've added everyone's contact details, listen to music, take photos. There's even a pen that comes with it to insert microchips on the back of cats' necks so you can keep track of them. It's a very valuable piece of equipment, Raniko, and I need you to protect it above all else. Do you understand? He's looking at me directly in the eye and clearly expects a response. Yes, sir. Of course I'll look after it. Good. You'll get to know all the functions as you go along, but for now I suggest we take a stroll and see if we can't find a few friends to introduce you to so you can try it out. He hands me the gadget. I feel a bit nervous taking charge of it, but also really keen to have a go. We head down to the beach, the professor explaining things as we go. The mixture of terrain on Cat Island is quite unique. Even among such relatively small area, you'll find forests, jungles, beaches, woodland, all of these different geological and ecological zones in one place. It really is most remarkable. It certainly is. Even the lack of wildlife is in itself quite remarkable. What do you mean, Professor? Well, put simply, there's a type of force field that surrounds the island, disallowing anything to enter. You mean literally anything? Absolutely. No birds, fish, or creatures of any kind can penetrate it. How do the cats eat? Forgive my lack of intelligence on the subject, but, we're here. The professor lets out a disconcertingly loud laugh. Ah, I see what you mean. Well, there is, of course, one small break in this invisible wall, and that's where we built the jetty. But let's not get too bogged down in all this right now. What you need to know is that this island is basically shaped like a peanut. He has picked up a nearby stick and draws a simple map in the sand. Sorry, did not get enough sleep. This, our end of the island, is very well known to us now. We've been researching here for many years. The other end is not so familiar. We've had difficulties that have hindered our progress in the region. What type of difficulties, Professor? Well, we're not sure as would like to be, but what I can tell you is that the environment has an adverse effect upon humans, inducing nausea at the very least. And at the worst? Fainting, migraines, possibly nerve damage. Gosh, that is serious. As I say, best to keep away. Well, let's not go into all that now, my dear. You've had a long day. For now, let's just say we refer to the far end of the island as the danger zone, with good reason. I must ask you not to put yourself at risk by venturing beyond this mountain range. He refers the map once more, drawing a line just past the center and X through the end section. There are wild and aggressive cats out there. I wouldn't want you getting too close to them. Unlike our lovely fellows closer to home. Has led me to a spot where a few cats are lounging about. What do you say? Would we try out your catalogue now, Ranico? He stoops down and picks up one of the animals, a disgruntled-looking cat who is sleeping under the shade of a palm tree. The cat lets out a displeased mewl, but doesn't struggle, its large body billowing with long orange fur. It just sort of hangs in the professor's arms in lazy resignation. Would you like to have a go at scanning this delightful chap? You find the ostrich and somewhat timidly activate it. The gadget immediately comes to artificial life, emitting a boop 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 sound with a red pulsing light. I select the app labeled Cat Scan, and it loads instantly. There's no delay on this thing. The professor holds the cat toward me with his arms outstretched. I'm sure he said the scanning chip is inserted in the back of the neck somewhere, but it's difficult to find this one's neck amid the thick cloud of fur. I blow to make a parting and press the catalogue to his skin. It's a bit like scanning groceries in the supermarket where I used to work. That should do it. He plops the marmalade Tom back into the shade. Sure enough, upon withdrawal, I find the cat's been successfully scanned. Meow, floofy butt. Gender male, age 10 years 4 months, breed red tabby Persian, eye color red. Amazing! Clever, isn't it? A large part of your job here will be to tag and scan the cats, such as Mr. Floofy Butt here. It looks like you'll have no problems in that area. Excellent work. Thank you, sir. Can't wait to get started. Well, why don't you get a bit more practice with the catalogue and scan the rest of them while we're here? The five spend a lot of time together. They're like a little family, aren't you? Oh, yes, you are. The professor seems to be a genuine cat lover like me. I think we're going to get on great. Okay, here goes. No help this time. The professor steps back. The first cat I approach is very friendly with beautiful calico markings. Comes toward me, already purring. Meow. Name Trixie, gender female, age 3 years 8 months, breed calico American shorthair, eye color green. Next is an elegant, sleek, hairless cat sitting graceful in the sun. She doesn't pay me much attention and allows me to scan her with minimal fuss. Snooty Booty. Meow. Female, 11 years 1 month, breed Sphinx, eye color blue. And she may have lost one eye. The fourth cat I approach is a noisy one. Meow, 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 meow. McMurphy, eh? Gender male, age 6 years, crossbreed, also green eyes. And then the one I've deliberately put off till last has been skulking around the edges of the activity, eyeing me suspiciously as though he could pounce at any moment. I laugh at myself, already projecting personalities onto these animals. Sss. Well, it's not really normal, it's not like but whatever. Kibble, male, 3 years, white British long hair, green. Hold on, I hope you enjoyed meeting some of the locals. The professor lets out a little laugh. I have a feeling you'll get to know them quite well in time. That's probably enough for your first day, don't you think? It's quite a lot to take in. I'm suddenly exhausted, grateful to be headed back to camp. Okay, I would like to have more choices than what to drink. Please? Hey, we got stats. It's quite late by the time I've unpacked and settled myself, but I want to write in my journal entry before I sleep. I'm surprised at how chilly it is. I've pulled my sleeping bag right up to my chin, but I still feel goose pimples over my arms. Shivering, I rub them to warm myself up. It makes me smile to think that this inherent reaction to the cold is what will be keeping my new feline friends warm tonight. My eyelids close, thinking of cats and the island and the professor. The world around me drifts away as I float up into a dream. I'm sure that static has nothing to do with anything. No idea how long I've been asleep, but I wake with a violent jolt that leaves me sitting bolt upright. It's too dark to see anything, but I hear a rustling and then a strange electric noise, like one that in my sleepy confusion I can't place right away. Boop, boop, boop. The catalogue. Acting on instinct, I scramble to my feet and follow the noise out of the tent. I look around me, my fears confirmed when I catch sight of a pulsing red light, getting fainter in the direction of the forest. I snap into action, running as fast as I can, barefoot, dressed in my pajamas, running at full speed into the forest in the dark of the night. I must be crazy. The words of Professor Purrfect are ringing in my ears. I need you to protect it above all else. My legs are trembling beneath me. I stop, feeling my heartbeat heavy through my body. I wheeze in and out, my breath billowing in front of me in white puffs. I shouldn't feel like this. Why am I so dizzy? I try to get my bearings and realize I've blundered perilously close to the danger zone. I can just make out the shapes of some large animals in front of me before my eyes close and I drop to my knees. I open my eyes. The calico cat I scanned yesterday is sitting in front of me. She drops the catalog at my feet. Now she's gonna speak. Don't fight it. I pass out. Hello? Can you hear me? Are you okay? What is it? Don't be ridiculous, Kibbles. It's a human. Oh yeah, yuck. I can smell it now. Smells like a human. Oh, do be quiet. Are they alive? Of course it's alive. It's breathing, you imbecile. Why isn't it moving? Would you come on and give them some space? Move back a bit. Yes, stand back. Move out of my way. Let me have a proper look. I begin to come to. The Sphinx cat is standing over me as I open my eyes. We stare at each other for a moment while I try to take in what's happening. Is this one defective? Ugh, I feel sick. I'm gonna puke. The cats watch me intently. Am I going insane? Ouch, my head. What is it chattering about? They're scared and confused. Let me talk to them. Human? Are you alright? I remember you. You took my catalog. Oh, but I gave it back to you. It's back in your pocket now. I try to reach in my pocket and realize my hands are scratched to shreds. Ow, 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 ow. What's wrong with my hands? I try to stand. Ow, ow, ow. My feet. What happened to me? Yeah, I guess that's from all the climbing. I told you I wasn't ready for that. What's that? Ready for what? Its anatomical structure is far too delicate. I tried to slow it down. Yeah, Floof, you try restraining a human that is that determined. It was like a margay. Its anatomical structure didn't seem that delicate to me. I was like, what? Doing what? You made your own way back to the beach. Okay, but that doesn't explain. I show my bleeding hands. You crawled, Kara. Kara? Who's Kara? That's not my name. It's a term of endearment. It's an Irish thing. It's inappropriate. Wait, I crawled? You sure did. Like a cat? Yep. All the way from the mountains? Like a bleeding mountain lion. Impressive. And, I mean, I probably should be trying to put on an Irish accent, but nah, I can't. But why? Because you got the sickness. You're down with the sickness. Shh. Maybe you should sit down, human. We need to have a talk. Possibly a long talk. Talk? Yes, that's right. Since when can cats talk? Oh, for goodness sake, since the dawn of time. How do you think we communicate? Stop splitting whiskers, Major. You know well what the human's saying. I think the revelation here, Kara, is that you can understand us. Yes, that too. Will someone please explain what the hell is going on? Well, we don't fully understand everything ourselves. At least, not all the details of how this all works. I think being stood in a forest surrounded by a bunch of talking cats is about as much detail as anybody'd want. I agree, and more to the point, we were rather hoping you would be able to help us. You are the scientist, after all. What we do know is that the clock has started ticking for you. What do you mean? Well, there's no easy way to say this to you, Kara. You'll be catified. I'll be what? Whether you help or not, you don't have a lot of time before... if I may. It would seem, we're basing this on our experience to date, that when a human manages to find themselves in what I believe you call the danger zone, they are vulnerable in ways they previously were not. That is to say, you're screwed. You're not helping any. Don't make me. Whoa, Mountain Lion. There'll be no violence of any kind. Forgive me for being a bit panicked here. The vulnerability to which Snooty Booty was referring is, simply put, if you're bitten or scratched by an elder cat within the danger zone, you'll begin a process of change that will ultimately result in a full feline transition. Catified. So basically, you tell me I'm a werecat? I look down, and in amongst the scratches on my right hand are 2 puncture marks. The reality of my situation descends upon me like a cold mist. Basically. Yes. My head's spinning. This is too much for me to take in. Take a breath now, Kara. You're not looking so good. What? Have I started to change? I feel my head for ears, fur. Everything seems to be normal. No. I just meant you're looking a bit shaky. Understandably so. I take a few deep, steady breaths and calm myself enough to say, okay, so why? How? What? Give me some data. What have you got so far? Look, we'll answer anything we can, but the truth is we've got more questions than answers ourselves. So, you said you need my help. What exactly would that entail? Well, finding our friends would be a start. The cats on this island, they're going missing, and we don't know what's happening to them, but the body count's rising, and we've hit a wall. A wall of ignorance, maybe. Really, how many times do I have to tell you? The Muellers are to blame. Muellers? Now, Floofypot, there's no need for name-calling. Speak of a name-calling, and I'll remind you to call me Major, madam! Look, they can't help the way they are. It's a lack of breeding, you know. Overbreeding, if you ask me. Again, Muellers? They're the elder cats, the island originals. They can't speak the way we can, hence the derogatory term, Muellers. And how exactly are they to blame? Well, if I knew that, there wouldn't be any need for this elaborate kidnapping. It's hardly proving to be a roaring success, after all. Look, Kara, all I know is that we are no longer safe on this island. The elders who live within the danger zone are hostile toward us. Not sure why. It's just always been that way. And now, because cats are being taken, nowhere else is safe either. Expect the occasional mishap. We live in an undomesticated world here, after all. But lately, cats have been disappearing almost every day. Even the last human we catified went missing. Hence the opening on the research team. I'm sorry, what? Let's not open old wounds, Kibbles. Yes, onward and upward. Well, first things first, this werecat thing. Catification. And transition. Whatever. How does it work? When time passes, then you turn into a cat. Yeah. It's a gradual process. It's different for everyone, but you won't just turn overnight. The clock is ticking, however. The first side effect of the transition is being able to understand us. Well, some of us. Not the elders, obviously. Not all the domestics either. Then you have the whole heightened senses thing. The increased agility, the crazy body hair stuff. Let's not worry the human with all the details just yet. I assume there's an antidote? I'm afraid you're going to be disappointed in that assumption. Hang on, you said there was someone else you put in this position? Well, let's just hope you're a better bet than they are. Unfortunately, they weren't able to discover an antidote or get our friends back. I know where their notes are, though. Really? Trade. Huh? You help us, and I'll give you their progress reports. Well, so, what do you say, Kara? Will you help us? Yes. Not much of a choice, really, is it? Afraid not. Okay, fine. So, where do I start? Is there anything you can tell me that'll help me track down your missing friends? We are, I should point out, 24 minutes into this game. We have done 4 choices. We've picked our name. We've picked what we look like out of a list of 6. And we picked a drink. And now we have picked to help the cats in a thing that they acknowledged wasn't really a choice. This is the kind of thing that I run into with visual novels that I'm not particularly keen on. I hope this opens up very soon. Well, will no one listen to sense? Start with the Muellers, and I'll eat my hat if it doesn't end there too. Don't mind him, he's set in his ways. We have every reason to believe the abductions take place in your part of the island. Yes, nowhere near the danger zone. Yes, nowhere near the danger zone or the elders. Well, that doesn't make much sense. But I suppose nothing does around this place. My catalogue stops beeping. Oh, my alarm, I have to get to work. You roll along now. We won't want you arousing suspicions with your people. You can meet with us later. I'll make sure those reports are in your tent before this evening. Thanks, Kara. You're 1 in a million. I imagine the odds are far greater than that, given your new health status. Go. And thanks from all of us. Seriously? Okay. The game saved, but equally I feel like it could have just saved our progress, which should take no time at all. After a rather painful journey, I'm grateful to finally limp into camp. I've just enough time to get myself tidied up for work, and I'm about to peel my filthy pajamas off when I hear my catalog beeping. I have a message, but I can't tell who it's from. It's not from any of the contacts that Professor Popper programmed into it. In fact, there's no contact info at all. Are you sure it's wise to trust everyone? Anyone? What on earth does that mean? Who is this? There's a lot you don't know. Think carefully about who you confide in. Before I can think of a reply, the messages are gone and my catalog has no record of them. Don't have any time to think about this right now. I need to get ready. As soon as I'm presentable, I head over to the lab. I'm 10 minutes late. It doesn't give a good impression on my first morning. Ah, Ranico. It's good to see you. I was beginning to worry. Did you oversleep on your first day? I'm terribly sorry, sir. I think the traveling and all the excitement of yesterday has really taken it out of me. I take punctuality very seriously normally. He cuts across my apology. Not to worry, it's perfectly understandable. You'll find I'm quite relaxed about most things. As long as you get the work done, I don't much mind what hours you keep. Thank you, sir. So, shall we get started? My goodness, what on earth happened to you? He's looking at the scratches all over my hand. Oh, I fell and tried to save myself by grabbing onto a bush. Not a secret drinker, are you, Ranico? Oh no, sir. I'm a bit of a lightweight, to tell you the truth. Just teasing. We ought to get those hands sorted out, though. They look pretty nasty to me. Goes to the tall metal cabinet in the corner and takes out a bottle and some cotton wool and begins cleaning and tending to my hands while he talks. For today, I'd like to have you help me with a few tasks around the lab to get a hang of things. But from tomorrow, I'll let you make up your own choices about how best to carve up your time. So, it looks like I've got one more section with absolutely no choices. And this game is basically out of time. Of course, you're primarily here to carry out your job as my research assistant. However, try to make most of your time on the island. Once your work's complete, we'll be saying goodbye. This really is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, so don't waste it in the lab. Naturally, I need your help around here, but I'd also like you to get your hands dirty with some field work. Make sure you spend the time exploring the island. It's a beautiful place and there's a lot to see. Take the time to get to know the cats. A full understanding of their behavior is crucial to our research. Plenty to see and do, however you must be careful not to overwork. Take regular rest and relaxation. We don't want you to burn yourself out now, do we? I'll try to get the balance right. That's the spirit. So there you are. He's done a first-class job on my wounds. They aren't bothering me nearly as much. I spend the rest of the day with the professor, getting to know the various pieces of equipment in the lab, finding out where everything is, and learning some of the basic duties I'll be performing routinely. By the end of the day, I'm exhausted and make my way to my tent. I'm about to flop down when I see the new package. It's a report that Kibbles promised to deliver. The cats were right. The previous person had barely made a start on producing an antidote. I'm gutted and worried. What if I can't do any better? What if I just turn into a... Will I just turn into a cat? That's not an option. I've resolved to get going on my own research into it tomorrow. My instincts tell me the cats will be a good starting point, and I have a feeling they know a lot more than they're prepared to tell me. I need to gain their trust and see if I can't get them to open up a bit. I'm sure I'll make progress if I focus on one at a time. I'm optimistic that one-to-one sharing will prove fruitful. It's a small glimmer of hope. Tonight I'm not fit for anything. I can barely write in my journal before I fall asleep. Okay, first morning waking up on the island. Kind of. I'm so excited to discover what the day will bring. Should I jump straight into lab research, or maybe it would be wise to start investigating a way to help these cats and find a cure for myself? Let's start to get to know, or maybe start to get to know the cats better. It sounds like I'm going to get to build my own schedule. New job. So that was an achievement that just popped up. So I wonder how many people have that achievement. Because it's literally, you basically just click next, 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 next. I'm just going to check that quickly. Perfect date. About half of people that have launched the game, I believe it is, have gotten this far. So you can spend some time on romance recon research. Let's do some research. First lot of research. Okay, we can't do some research. So back, we can't research anything. I guess we do recon then. Okay, right, so this isn't actually... Right, gotcha. Let me just go back to research then. So these things are right, okay. Let's go with rounding up some rowdy kitties. It's a sunny afternoon and most of the cats are lazing on the beach. Perfect, like shooting fish in a barrel. Double check my supply list. Crate, treat, sedative, snare, catnip, antiseptic cream for myself. Got everything. I have a sick feeling in my tummy, but I ignore it as best as I can. This is going to be a challenge, but I'm pleased the professor is trusting me with the more physical tasks. I walk out onto the beach, feeling like a child catcher, reminding myself that I'm doing this for the greater good, even if it makes me unpopular with the cats. I set up the crate in an unsuspecting location and keep the snare hidden behind my back. At first, I stroll around trying to look as casual as possible, whistling a tune as I walk. I get close to one of the small cats. I start to stroke her. I want this to be as painless as possible. The cat responds well to me. She even starts to purr gently. You gonna come with me? The cat looks at me with big, wide, loving eyes. Come on then. I pick the cat up, carry her to the crate, place her gently inside, lock it shut, even though the cat makes no attempt to escape. Well, that went better than expected. This might be a good day after all. Emboldened by my success, I approach one of the slightly larger cats. Hey, matey, shall we get in the basket? I give him a little stroke. He doesn't respond badly, but he doesn't seem particularly interested. I put my arms on either side of his body, ready to pick him up. He doesn't look too happy about it and growls a warning at me. It's going to be okay. We're just going on a little trip, alright? As soon as I start to lift, all hell breaks loose. Yowling and hissing, he scratches my arms to ribbons. I try to get him into the basket, but he stretches out, and I can't fit him in. Ow, ow, no! I know when I'm defeated. I have to let him go. He scampers off into the distance. Look down at my ravaged arms. Note to self, wear long sleeves when on cage duty. Yes, absolutely. Thick sleeves. Okay. So we got a research done. We can try a bit of the old recon. Recon 4. Chat with the security guard. Let's see. A strange message in the middle of the night. Doesn't anyone sleep on this island? I hear my catalog beeping. I presume it's the professor. I tumble out of bed, half asleep, looking around for the device. Look at the stream, my eyes struggling to focus. The message isn't from the professor at all. There's no contact information. Come outside. Who is this? Come outside. They obviously aren't going to respond to my question. Should I do as the message tells me? Yes! When a stranger says, come outside, you totally do that. That's definitely a thing that I've learnt from media. You should just trust weird strangers that don't give you any information and give requests. My curiosity is roused. I have a feeling there's something important to learn from this stranger, so I throw on my clothes and crawl out of my tent. Don't see anything out of the ordinary. Anyone out here? My catalog beeps again. Walk to the edge of the forest. I'm not going any further until you tell me who you are. Walk to the edge of the forest. No! Walk to the edge of the forest. To walk to the edge of the forest. Walk to the edge of the forest. Stop it! I realize that I've walked to the edge of the forest. At the edge of the forest, I see something on the ground. As I get closer, it becomes clear that it's a small posy of flowers. I gingerly pick them up and notice that several of the flower heads are missing. Catalog beeps again. Follow the petals. That's when I see a trail of little orange petals, the same color as the bouquet I'm holding. Well, I've come this far, no turning back. Now I begin to walk. I'm nervous, so I call out. Hello? No answer, louder this time. Hello? Hello? Hello, who's that? Who goes there? Major, is that you, Floofy Bud? I really wish you wouldn't call me that, human. What on earth do you think you're playing about? Cavorting around the forest in the dead of the night, causing a ruckus. Oh, Major, you don't know how pleased I am to see you. I need your help.
This can't wait until a civilized hour?
I'm afraid it can't. I'm not the one instigating this. I've been getting messages from an anonymous source asking me to follow them into the forest. Look, they've left this trail.
Ah! Calendula maritima, marigolds, the herb of the sun. They're said to represent creativity, though I believe some of them to be symbols of cruelty and grief.
Your knowledge is always so impressive, but I have to say on this occasion it's not very comforting. Fluffybutt goes striding off with purpose.
Come along then, Renegade. We're going to follow this. Are we going to follow this trail or not?
I shuffle awkwardly behind him.
Before the sun comes up, eh?
We continue on for a short while and notice that the petals are getting more sparse. It's becoming more difficult to see them, until eventually they seem to run out and we find ourselves at a small clearing.
Well, it appears someone's been playing a joke on you, Renegade.
I sadly agree this has been nothing more than a wild goose chase. Seems so, Major. Sorry for dragging you into this. Let's get back to our beds before we waste any more precious news time on this fool. I turn to Fluffybutt and notice his back is arched and his fur is puffed up, making him look even more floofy than usual. Something wrong, Major?
You tell me, human. Does that pile of rocks look suspicious to you?
Amid a myriad rock piles, I notice a small, contrived-looking cairn. Fluffybutt's right. It looks far from natural. Looks to me like it's asking to be inspected, Major.
Well, get to it, Renegade. You're the one with the thumbs.
I begin to dismantle the small mound, rock by rock. It's not until the foundation stone is removed that I find a manila envelope. Major, look, it's a letter.
Looks rather large for a letter, my dear. I think you ought to open it.
Here, or at the base?
Having got this far, I think it's only fair that I have an equal share of the spoils. Spoils?
Yes, perhaps we should look right now, Major. As I'm speaking, I've torn into the envelope.
Well, out with it.
It looks like drawings?
What sort of drawings?
Not sure, but they look quite old, antique even.
But do they have value, human?
Probably, to someone. They appear to be sketches of people here on the island, but I don't recognize anyone. Why would someone lead me to these?
How do you know that you were meant to find them?
Because we followed a trail and it led us here.
Actually, the trail ended a while back. This could be just coincidence. I hardly see the intrigue in a few old scribbles. They show no artistic flair at all.
Even so, I'm going to hang on to these to see if they prove relevant to whatever mystery is unfolding here on this island. Fluffybutt rolls his eyes.
You really ought to focus on the clues that matter instead of turning around in the middle of the night on wild goose chase. Running around, not turning around. Let's head back before anyone discovers you're missing. I roll the drawings up and tuck them into my waistband. I'll study them when I got more time. I think Fluffybutt's probably right, but I don't want to miss a trick. Get some rest now, Renegade. Finally, a sensible suggestion. I head off to Fluffybutt, struggling to keep up. I really need some sleep. Alright, I'm going to leave it there. I do feel like there's a lot of this game that I haven't got yet, but I also 2.8%. I thought that was 14% last time, but I missed the decimal point. It's interesting. There's stuff that's going on. I don't think it's a game I would want to stream or like do a let's play of. There's too much reading out aloud, and I like that takes it out of me. I'm not sure, to be honest, that I'm going to keep playing it. I might. It will probably go into the pile of like, if I got time and I kind of feel like that sort of thing. But I generally go for a point-and-click adventure over a visual novel like this. I just find they move faster, and you tend to be able to work on more things at the same time. But yeah. If you want to try it yourself, like always, there's a link in the description if you're enjoying these videos, or if you want to give me your own opinion on what you've seen here, please leave a comment, let me know, and yeah, if you like this kind of thing, share it with your friends. I need to see these things more often, because it turns out if you don't talk about these things, people don't do them. I'll see ya next time.